right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, James Larsen around the UFL newsroom. We'll talk about some big changes in the UFL this off season and some of the Pirates you can expect to see coming up this spring. James, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I just got down here to Dallas myself, moved down here last weekend, and I'm excited for training camp to get underway here in the UFL.
Let's start with just some of the newness, new teams, new locations. What were the big changes this off season in the UFL?
Yeah, we've got three new markets with Columbus, Louisville, and Orlando joining the fold, and it's interesting to see Orlando return. They've been a market that's been around in spring football here and there with the Apollos and the AAF in 2019, and then, of course, the Guardians and the XFL in 2023. Mike Rapoli, with this new leadership, he's a firm believer in Orlando as a market. That's where he lives. So it's good to see the Storm back in action there. I love their uniforms. They've got an interesting concept there. But Columbus and Louisville are what I'm really excited about. Those are two cities that are very, very passionate about their sports teams. I mean, Ohio State needs no introduction what the Buckeyes and that fan base brings to Columbus. And then, of course, in Louisville, this is their first professional football team down there in the city, and they're fired up. Their home opener's already sold out. So some strategic moves here by the UFL to ensure that they're getting the fan engagement that they need to see in order to survive moving forward.
Yeah, I know our guy Rajay Harris is heading to the St. Louis Battlehawks, and I believe I remember the St. Louis Rams, the Cardinals have such a big following, but with no NFL and no NBA in St. Louis, from what I understand, they've really enjoyed their franchise there, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the Battlehawks have been the marquee market for the UFL the last few years and the XFL in 2020 and 2023. I mean, to get 40,000 fans out to a game for spring football, you can't beat that. I mean, it's just tremendous what they can do. Last year, I got to go to a game when the Michigan Panthers played the Battlehawks. That environment's electric. You would think it's an NFL game. It gets very loud in the dome. The fans are incredibly passionate about their team, and they play good football. I mean, the Battlehawks have been a playoff team these last couple of years. We'll see how things shake out. They've got a new coach and a new staff and a lot of new players, but overall, I mean, that market's just been the golden standard for what spring football can be.
James Larson joining us. We'll actually talk to Rajay coming up, record an interview with him about an hour from now and get some details. But last week, I think he said he was heading to Dallas on Thursday. So everybody will kind of get together there, right, and meet with their respective teams.
Yeah, the UFL's got an interesting hub set up where everything that they're all live and are based out of the Arlington/Dallas area. They've got training facilities over at by Choctaw Stadium, which is where the Renegades used to play. The Renegades actually just moved stadiums to Toyota Stadium, kind of part of Mike Rapoli's new vision to get better size venues for spring football so the stands don't look so empty, kind of have that COVID game mindset. But no, to circle back to your question there, yeah, everyone lives and base and practices here in Dallas and Arlington.
James, just curious, how did you get hooked up with the UFL? Why the UFL for you?
For me, I've been doing this for about 6 years. I'm super passionate about spring football. It's one of those things where several years ago, when I kind of just stumbled into the scene, I was like, man, hardly anybody covers this, and these players, like, I do this for the players. Like, these guys, they deserve to have their stories told. They deserve to have people actually talking about them and hyping them up and recognizing just how good of athletes they are. I mean, Rajai Harris, for example, I mean, we know what he's done at ECU. I know he's been to some of the UFL showcases and the pro showcase back in November. Everyone's got great things to say about him. Now it's time for him to go prove it on the field. And, storylines like that just get me excited and fired up.
In your opinion, James, and what the UFL wants to be, is it better that it is a feeder system, almost a minor league to the NFL, or is it better to remain its own entity? In your opinion, which is the best way to go?
I think you can kind of balance both in the correct manner. I think Mike Rapoli's approach to it is the right one, where it is its own entity. You're kind of standing alone. You're trying to create something that's innovative and really getting fans that love football, that are passionate about it, that also want something that's affordable and fun for the family, right? I mean, that's kind of been their focus. So I think the feeder system, that's important too. I mean, that, getting guys to the NFL, we've seen the storylines of Brandon Aubrey, right, with the Cowboys, Kamante Turpin also with the Cowboys, Jalen Redmond with the Vikings. There's so many players that have gone to the NFL and been successful because of spring football. But at the end of the day, the UFL is also its own thing. Like, it's the spring football, it's professional football, and it's good football, and it's fun.
In years past, former East Carolina coach Skip Holtz, we called him the Belichick or the Nick Saban of spring football because the Birmingham Stallions continue to win and win and win. And kind of on that note, do you know enough now about the rosters to say, hey, this team's going to be really good? This team might struggle. I mean, it's got to be designed for everybody to be almost even, right? So, what's the
Yeah.
separator in these
You
teams?
know, that's a great question. There's a lot of parity right now. I think what's fascinating is so the league did a whole redraft last month because we've got 6 new coaches. We've got so many new, we've got these new expansion teams and whatnot. So they just decided to redraft the entire roster where teams can protect like 10 of their guys, 12 of their guys from last year, but it's mostly new rosters. On paper, everybody looks pretty damn good. I mean, there's a couple teams that stand out above the rest. And I will say, Birmingham looks very, very good. They've got, I think, 32 players who are formerly on NFL rosters. I mean, these are some guys that can play. And you've got AJ McCarron as head coach. This is his first opportunity there. But Birmingham looks really good. I love what Orlando did as well. Anthony Becht, who was with the Battlehawks, now he's in Orlando. But across the board, it's going to be tough to really judge these rosters until we see these players take the field, at least in training camp, kind of get the vibe of what's going on with teams because, like I said, brand new rosters on paper, they all look pretty good.
And with Turpin and Aubrey, some of the guys you mentioned, did they finish out their spring football year and then go to the NFL, or could some of these guys like leave mid-season if an NFL team wants them? How does that work?
So they can't leave mid-season. Like the contracts are designed where they play the full year, the full season in the UFL, and then afterwards, of course, they're released and they're free to sign with any NFL team after that. But hypothetically, if the NFL wanted to sign someone in week 7, they'd have to wait until the UFL season's over.
Gotcha. There will be some Pirates, I believe, spread out through the UFL. We mentioned Rajay, also Isaiah
Isaiah,
Winstead,
yes,
and I think Noah Henderson, offensive lineman, going to be a part of it as well.
he's in Birmingham. Yeah.
And a guy that grew up right down the road playing ball at J.H. Rose High School, Cornell Powell, I believe, with the DC Defenders.
Yeah, Powell's back, and he actually led the UFL in receiving touchdowns last year. So he's a big piece for them to retain. And Isaiah Winstead's a guy that I think hasn't gotten enough attention the last couple of years. I mean, you know what he can do. I mean, his frame, his route running ability, he should be in the NFL right now. So I'm excited for him. I believe he's with the Louisville Kings. So that offense, if they can get going with Jason Bean, I could see Winstead being a big piece of their success.
Big name coaches in this league as well. Who are the some of the coaches to keep an eye on?
Well, we've got Rick Neuheisel back. He hasn't coached for several years, but I mean, just Neuheisel's a pretty popular name. I know he works for CBS Sports now, but I mean, look at his background. It's kind of self-explanatory. What will be interesting to watch is so many of these new faces because we've got AJ McCarron, Ted Ginn Jr., Ricky Prohl, and Chris Redmond, who have never been a head coach or
Wow.
coordinator any level. Ricky Prohl's got some experience. He's been in the NFL. He's been a wide receivers coach, but like guys like Chris Redmond, they haven't coached a day in their life. AJ McCarron, he was coaching like youth flag football before this opportunity in the UFL. But then again, someone like McCarron, he's worked with Nick Saban in Alabama, right? I mean, he's been in the NFL, he's been a quarterback in the UFL, he's been a leader. So we'll see how this all plays out. But it's going to be fun because a lot of these guys will be figuring it out kind of day one here.
James, where the will the games be televised this year? What's the TV situation?
TV situation's really good. It's still with Fox and ESPN/ABC, so a lot of games will be on network television like Fox. Friday night games on Fox every week, and then Saturdays and Sundays we'll have games on ABC, ESPN, Fox, and ESPN2.
Look, one of the deals with these spring leagues is just can they survive? And I hate to say it that way, but we've seen the XFL, end early. We've seen a friend of mine, Bryce Williams, who joins us on the show every week, former ECU tight end, was in the AAF, and that
Yeah.
didn't make it to week 8 or whatever. So, but the UFL, it looks like it's got a pretty good structure, a pretty good base foundation. Is that fair to say? And you won't have to worry about something like that.
With spring football, you never really know. And I think you bring up a very valid point is football is expensive and spring football, we can be honest, it's not the most popular thing right now. But there's a reason why Mike Rapoli bought into it. He sees the vision, he's got this plan and he really does bring financial stability to the league. It's just a matter of will he stay committed. I think a lot of these moves that we've seen from him as of late have pointed in that direction that he's committed. He's in this for the long haul and hopefully that means we will have spring football around because like we talked about this is such an important platform for these players, for these guys. Brandon Aubrey, Cavante Turpin, Jalen Redmond, Perrion Winfrey. These guys wouldn't be in the NFL right now if it wasn't for a platform like the UFL. So we'll see how things go. Right now, I would say it's more stable than ever because of Mike Rapoli and what he brings to the table.
You can follow James Larsen at James Larsen PFN, the UFL newsroom around the UFL, and James is covering transactions and uniforms and everything in between. Anything else, James, we need to know about what you're covering for the league this year?
I mean, everything. If there's something UFL related, I'll be on it. I'll be covering it. So I'm excited to be down here in Dallas. And yeah, training camp's kicking off this weekend. Quarterbacks are already down here getting some reps in. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see how some of these ECU guys do as well.
No doubt, James. We'll get you on when the games begin. Appreciate you joining us today, man, and we'll talk again down the road with you.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.